Hi everybody, David here from Humanizing the Badge. One of the most read articles on our Call for Backup blog so far was a piece called What Not to Say to a Suicidal Person. As well-intentioned as we may be, there are some things that people often say regarding suicide that come across as being very dismissive and judgmental. I'll go a step further and say that these things should also never be said to the survivor of a suicide, because rather than provide comfort, these statements may simply fuel misunderstanding and anger on the part of the person left behind after the act has been completed. So here are 10 common statements that may tend to make things worse instead of better. And I'm going to follow each one up with a question that could be asked instead. So number 1, surely your life is not that bad. Versus, what would your life look like without the present pain you're going through? Number 2, how could you think of hurting me like that? Versus, who are the most important people in your life and how would they feel about losing you? Number 3, why would you be so selfish? Versus, what is one thing that someone could do for you today that would make you feel better? Number 4, suicide is such a cowardly act. Versus, if you're brave enough to die, what makes you think you're not brave enough to live? Number 5, you don't mean it. You don't really want to die. Versus, do you really want to die? Or do you just want to change the way you live? Number 6, you have so much to live for. Versus, what are some goals you had for your life that you haven't yet fulfilled? Number 7, come on, things could be worse. Versus, are things as bad as they've ever been for you? Or are you just having more trouble coping now with what you're going through? Number 8, other people have problems worse than yours and they don't want to die. Versus, if you could name one thing in your life that you're grateful for today, what would it be? Number 9, suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Versus, is there anything or anyone that could stop you from killing yourself today? And finally, number 10, if you commit suicide, you'll go to hell. Versus, do you have any spiritual beliefs or practices that may influence the way you feel about killing yourself? I want to encourage you to visit our website at www.callforbackup.org, where you'll find the article on the topic of today's video. In that article, you'll be able to see a brief explanation as to why each of those statements should be avoided. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and we'll answer them as opportunity permits. Meanwhile, we'll be back next week with another episode of Weekly Wisdom. If you're struggling with thoughts of suicide, please send a message to our Facebook page, Call for Backup. If you're in crisis now and need immediate help, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-TALK or text the keyword badge to 741-741 to be connected to a trained crisis counselor. It's time to call for backup.